Hi, my name is Yasmin Turehi, and this is Startup Confessionals, where we interview startup founders and entrepreneurs in the Middle East and Africa. We'll learn about some of the biggest lessons these founders discovered on their journey from the personal to the professional and share how they keep themselves motivated. Today's episode is with Nadine Mezher, the founder of Sarwa. Sarwa is the first and fastest growing digital investment platform and personal finance app for young professionals in the Middle East with more than 50,000 registered users. And since launching in February 2018, Sarwa has revolutionized how young professionals grow their wealth by bringing smart, simple, affordable digital investing to the region. Through its mobile app, Sarwa aims to deliver more innovative personal finance products like Sarwa Invest, Sarwa Crypto, and Sarwa Trade, which we'll dive into in the show. So thank you so much for joining us, Nadine. Can you briefly share your value proposition in your words with our audience?
So Yasmin, as you just mentioned, Sarwa is a digital investing platform. We help people invest their hard-earned money into international markets so they can grow their wealth and build for a better future. Sarwa has currently two core products that we offer. One is Sarwa Invest and one is Sarwa Trade. Sarwa Invest is the hands-off automated investing that's built around globally diversified portfolios. They're made mainly of exchange-traded funds, and they give you the ability to just put your money to work hassle-free. You're onboarded online. It takes 5 minutes to open an account, and then you just let it run without you having to worry about anything. And then we have the Sarwa Trade, which is the self-directed platform. So this is a trading platform that allows you to buy and sell thousands of US stocks and ETFs. And it's a zero commission. And also it offers zero transfer fees for anyone who has a UAE account. So you can transfer from your UAE account to Sarwa without incurring any transfer fees. And that's also because Sarwa is actually based out of the UAE.
Wow. And you have 50,000 registered users. So could you tell us how much of that is in Sarwa Invest versus crypto or trade? Or do you see that most of the people who are on your platform kind of have a mix of all three?
Actually, that's a very good question. What we do have the majority of our clients that have both accounts. So they have a Sarwa Invest and a Sarwa Trade. And the reality is we launched Sarwa Trade because a lot of our clients were asking us to, be able to just trade in a few ETFs or companies or themes they strongly believe in while having the majority of their money actually invested in the long-term passive investment. So we decided that, we really want to be able to give them the tools to control, what they invest in while also growing their wealth in the right way. So I would say actually currently the majority of our clients have the two accounts, while the second majority is into invest. And then you have trade that's really growing very fast. We just launched trade a couple of months ago.
Amazing. And you guys are offering these products not just to consumers, but also to like accredited investors. And is that correct?
So mainly Sarwa is a B2C platform. We cater to retail clients. Yes.
Okay. Excellent.
But we do have few that are not retail, but that's more on an exception side.
Okay. And so can you talk us through why you decided to start this company? So it started in 2018 or 2017, actually. I believe. And why did you decide to start it?
Well, you are absolutely right. Sarwa launched the platform in February 2018. Now, the idea was started a while back. So 2016, my partners, my co-founders, Mark and Jad, they were in Canada. And they started, asking friends and family. It's usually, when it comes to launching companies, whether they're startups or businesses, it's always, a solution that you're trying to provide for your immediate community, whether it's someone close to you, you realize there's a need to have such services. So at the time they were talking to friends and family, and they will tell them where you're investing your money, because in Canada they do have these options of very extremely affordable, accessible investment tools, while the region we did not have that. So The typical answer would be saving accounts, right? Like you save money, you put it in a saving account. And from my end, Yasmin, I was actually also, I had this very close family member who wanted to invest his money, and he's been saving for it for a long time. And then he went to a couple of traditional financial advisors, and they wouldn't take him because he didn't hit the minimum account requirement. So it was always that story of people around us either not having access to the tools when they needed them, or they didn't even know that they can actually invest.
Wow. Nadine, what would you say, you spoke a little bit about where the industry was and why you decided to start the company. But, now what would you say is your competitive advantage in terms of people putting money into other funds? Are people in the region more interested in investing in Sarwa, or, what are sort of their opportunities to invest? I guess that's the question that I'm super curious about.
It's again, very good question. Well, the reality is, I think our biggest competitor currently is the saving accounts. It's people not knowing the importance of actually growing your money and putting it just aside while it's, it's losing to inflation. So we decided at Sarwa to focus a lot on education and how can we get the information out to the market so they know that they have options available. Now, the reality is you still have also the traditional advisors. So, and I wouldn't say they're really competition because they haven't managed to cater to especially a young generation that's much more digital, that's looking, for convenience, that's very, again, fee sensitive and understands the importance of having low fees, low account minimums. So the investment opportunities that you have here in the region, I would probably split them into three. So you have your traditional way of investing, which is traditional financial advisors. Then you have, again, something that's big here in the region is real estate investing. But what people tend to also not take into account when they do that is diversification and the liquidity of the asset, which is something very, very important to think about, right? So you don't want to put all your eggs into one basket, and at the same time, you want to have access to your money when you need to. Real estate is not the most liquid asset. And the third, I would say, again, you do have now new investment platforms that are coming, that are digital and that have, again, a good accessibility. But I would still think that we stand out on many fronts.
Amazing. And where in the region are you guys available? Is it just the UAE and the Gulf, or is it available all over the region?
So Sarwa is regulated by two entities. We are regulated in Dubai by the FSA. So we have offices in the IFC, and we're also headquartered out of Abu Dhabi. So we're regulated by the AGGM FSRA in Abu Dhabi. So our presence, our core market is the UAE, and we are really focusing on growing the market share here. But we do have clients from across. So we have clients from across the region, and sometimes we do actually even cater to international clients. Of course, expansion is always in the roadmap. So that's something we're looking into.
Oh, yeah. I was curious what the roadmap looked like. So Nadine, when was the moment that you realized that the product had product market fit? What was there like a particular kind of series of months, or how did you guys kind of realize that there was some actual kind of meat in this product in the early years?
I would say it's really when it went, we had demand beyond the immediate circle of friends and family, and the product started growing organically. And we started having clients that are advocates. Now, of course, we also do surveys, we do market research, and realize there's a big demand in the market. And the growth that we were seeing, the exponential growth that started happening, confirmed what we initially, our projections of what the demand would be. And so far, we've been hitting every milestone and over delivering on that front.
Amazing. Congrats. Yeah, 50,000 registered users in the region is quite large. So I'm impressed. And Nadine, how did your priorities shift based on the stage of the company and size? So you obviously, I believe, raised $25 million. How have things changed since you raised your round, and how have your priorities shifted?
Yes, correct. We did raise 25 million in total, and mainly it haven't really shifted much, right? Our core focus has always been on democratizing investing, making it accessible, and really helping, our clients grow their wealth in the best way possible. And that's something we have at the core of everything we do. Sarwa is very, very client centric, and I'd say it's a very purpose-led brand. That's something the entire team stands by. Now, of course, there are small pivotal moments in our journey where we realize, okay, you know what? We had this roadmap. Now the market insights are giving us some really very interesting ideas that we can tap into and test. And again, I'm giving you the example of Sarwa Crypto and also Sarwa Trade. Again, that was based on insights from the market and our clients requesting. So as I mentioned, we also do on regular basis the Net Promoter Score, and in it we ask for information from our clients. What are they looking to see? And based on that, we start doing our analysis. We do social listening. We're always trying to read what the needs of our clients are and even anticipate them. And based on that, we move, right? So, but the reality as a startup, you're always you're in always a continuous growth mindset, and you're always looking to be ahead of the game.
Yeah, that's so important. I think a lot of people don't spend enough time really sitting with their clients and understanding what their clients want, and just becoming overly fixated on the vision of their product or maybe the operational pieces. But yeah, I so appreciate that you've kept a focus on your clients themselves and what they want, and getting the due diligence of what's working for them. So that's, as a product marketer, I mean, that's really the bulk of where I think the success lies in companies.
Thank you.
So amazing.
Thank you, Yasmin.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. It is super important. It is very, very important to keep. I mean, ultimately, it's the client that's at the center of everything you do, right? You can have the best product, but if not, it's not a product that anyone wants, then you're not gonna be able to sell it or market it. But at the same time, it's always very, very important to also stay true to what you want to achieve, what the mission you started with. So it's a good balance between the two.
Yeah, absolutely. So Nadine, I want to talk a little bit about some things that founders don't necessarily talk about, which is the challenges and how you overcome them. What was a big moment of adversity or a challenge that you may have faced when building the company, and how do you overcome it? I think the audience is really usually interested in how other people deal with challenges and adversity, because I think it's inevitable, right? We often only hear about successes, but we very rarely hear about challenge and failure, right? Yeah. So curious, what was a big moment of adversity or a challenge that you faced, and how did you deal with it?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say one big moment, but there are, a lot of different, whether they could be very small, right? Yasmin, like you can actually, on day-to-day basis, sometimes you're feeling, a little bit down just because you're like, there's so much to do. And as a founders, we wear so many hats at the same time. But that's the beauty of having co-founders. I always say it's actually great to share the journey with other people. So you're able to just support each other. It's a roller coaster, as probably you've heard so many times. But I would say, again, I always like to say, if in terms of the big lines, there are three main challenges that are very common amongst everyone that has a business. And that is, the first one would be capital and raising money and funding. But we were quite different because from the get-go, we had actually a VC that came on board. So it's also very important to leverage strategic partner from the get-go. It definitely helped us. And that helped us navigate a lot of the crazy little challenges, hurdles along the way. But it's always the case when you have a company, it's not just funding because you want to drive growth. It's funding when you want to maintain growth. And that becomes a little bit more tricky, I would say. So far, we've had a great journey. We've had a lot of great, actually, stakeholders and partners on board, including, government funds like the Dubai International Financial Center, including the Abu Dhabi Investment Office. Now we have Mubadala, we have 500 startups, we have Kipco from Kuwait. Like I mentioned, we have Shuruk partners from the get-go. So a lot of great partners along the way. But the number two, I would say, is, well, that's very specific to financial technology, because as you know, Sarwa is a fintech and we're a regulated entity. Now, for this type of industry, regulation is a challenge. And sometimes it's honestly also a big opportunity because it keeps you centered over, the client, and how do you make sure, that you're protecting client money and you're safeguarding their data and so on. So it's both a challenge and opportunity, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about the people in your life, like kind of the behind the scenes, like the folks who've been supporting you? I mean, it could also be like your co-founder, but I'm curious, like how your relationships have contributed to the success of this business and how the people in your life help you, right? Because it's like you had mentioned, I mean, it's difficult, right? Some days, and even though you have these amazing partnerships with all these different types of, I guess, businesses, right, in the fintech space, but how did your relationships really shape you and contribute to the growth of this company and product?
Oh, so much. I mean, I've discussed more on a business level, but on a personal level, it's both a mindset and a support system, I would say. So you need to have that mindset of perseverance, of having, that goal in place and in mind, and keep focusing on the end goal and work towards that no matter what you face. But also you do need a very strong support system. And I'm lucky enough to have my little village around me. So it's extremely important to have, to surround yourself with people that believe in you, what you're trying to do. So they can help you. They can give you that drive. And I'm also a mom of 3 kids. So I'm going to say it openly. Like, if I didn't have an amazing husband that's also my biggest supporter, I would not be able to actually balance both. And vice versa. He also has his own company. So I believe I do the same for him. But the reality is you do need that support system, and you need to have a structure. You need to have great people in your life that actually believe in you. And that allows you to keep moving forward.
Beautiful. And how much weight does technical knowledge contribute to the start of your company? Because I think a lot of people get a little nervous or worried that if they don't have a technical background or, a background in engineering and coding, that it's difficult to start a tech company. And a lot of founders that I've spoken to don't necessarily have a technology background, or they have a technology background, but not necessarily an engineering background. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. How much do you need to sort of leverage other people, or how does that work?
Yeah. It's very true. I mean, we hear that a lot. The reality is I don't have a tech background, right? I don't come from an engineering background, but I am right now learning how to code because it is something that I'm personally interested in. The way we made it happen in Sarwa is, when you choose your co-founders, you choose them based on complementary skills, right? So it's amazing how, as I mentioned, I have my 2 co-founders, Mark and Jad, how we all really have strengths that the other person doesn't necessarily have. And that's what's important when you build something, is if you have a gap, make sure you fill it with the right people. So I wouldn't say that skill set is a necessity per person, but I would say it definitely is a big, big help if you have it as part of the founding team, at least, to help you, because the reality is we're a tech company, so it's important to also have that knowledge. But there's much more to a business than that. And you need strategic thinking, you need growth mindsets, you need, retail strategy, market strategy. There's a lot more to bring to the table than just this specific set of skills.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it requires like a full team of knowledge and direction. So, Nadine, what sort of things have surprised you the most on this journey?
I would say it's really learning a lot about myself. To be honest, it's the fact that I realized that it takes a lot of perseverance, and that's something that I was happy to see that I have, and to continue down that path.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's the greatest work, right? You build companies, and I think a lot of people have said that it's kind of like their biggest like spiritual growth, right? They're constantly learning so much about themselves. Yeah, I can imagine, right? You're kind of placed in so many different types of scenarios. So
that's so true. That is so true.
Yeah. So Nadine, and I know we're going to wrap up pretty soon, but what is a book that you are reading now, or a book that you've read over the last 5 to 10 years that has deeply inspired you that you want to share with our audience?
Oh, books. There's so many, to be honest. Like it depends on what and where was I in the journey. But the most recent book that we're reading, actually, all of us as a company, is Scaling Up. The one that I like about marketing is This Is Marketing. I'm also reading on this side. I'm very interested in something that doesn't have anything to do with tech, but trees. It's a French book about forests and how trees communicate between each other. It's a big book, and I started it a while back, and I'm still I really want to finish it. There's a which book is actually, I was mentioning the other day, Things a Little Bird Told Me. Is that what it's called?
Things a Little Bird Told Me. Okay, I've never heard of that before.
It's by the co-founder of Twitter. It's a very light read. It's a fun read, but it's also, again, great insight into someone that's built a company, a startup, and what they went through. Also, I would say there's a lot of great books, honestly, that and again depends on where I am in the journey, I would say.
Amazing. These are great. I haven't actually heard of This Is Marketing, and I'm surprised. And so where do you get new ideas and inspiration? Is it through books? But, besides books and maybe conversations, where do you go to look for new ideas?
Where do we go for new ideas? If we're talking about Sarwa, very, very much the market. Again, we're very big on social listening, and we have tools that are in place. We also have, Slack. So we use Slack, not to do any advertising for any companies, but as communication channel. We share a lot of the information from clients' feedback. We're always looking into what we can learn from clients and what they want. And just keeping an eye on everything that's trending, whether it's, again, through the different tools that are available, Google, keyword trends and planner, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of different ways to collect information and to build on that, but also a lot of internal discussions with the team. I think, now that the company is growing and we each have visibility over one side of the business, or maybe, a bit more on client side or on back-end side, whatever it is that we need to actually look into, then we make sure to have very, very open communication channel and to keep the conversation flowing.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So Nadine, thank you so much for your time. And where can people find Sarwa? Where can they find information about you? Where can they link up with you?
Of course. I mean, we have the app, so you can find Sarwa on the App Store, both Android and iPhone. And then we have the website. So it's www.sarwa.co. It's CO. And if they Google Sarwa, we're also on social channels across, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter. So wherever they look, I'm hoping that they will be able to easily find us, because that's what we're aiming for, is just to make the platform, again, what's at the core of our business is to make it very easy, accessible, but also I'll add the layer of very affordable.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Nadine. And thank you for starting this company. I think it's incredible that you are empowering so many people to invest their money and grow it, especially with so much inflation that's so high. So thank you so much for your time. And for our audience, thanks for joining and for listening to Startup Confessionals.